Hey, Pittsburgh, it's Megan here. Are you trying to live a more fulfilling, peaceful, and dynamic life? Well, here's your chance to get inspired. The Art of Living founder Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is in town for a special one-night-only event. The Art of Living is a nonprofit humanitarian organization, and they're active in 180 countries, teaching meditation, nonviolence, and service for humanity. Tap into your own sixth sense, meditation, and wisdom Thursday, June 22nd at the Omni William Penn. Tickets are available at tiny.cc/sixth sense pit. We'll put that link in our show notes.
Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, fries aren't an optional side in Pittsburgh. They're a topping for sandwiches, salads, you name it. Sarah Gray dug into this regional trend in an article for Serious Eats, and we're bringing back her conversation with CityCast's Morgan Moody. It's Thursday, June 22nd. I'm Mallory Falk, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about.
What's considered to be the Pittsburgh sandwich or salad?
So the thing that really characterizes the image of Pittsburgh food, especially outside the city, is French fries, for sure. We put fries on our sandwiches, we put fries on our salads. We also have been known to bury those salads in meat and cheese.
Not a green on the plate.
We stretch the definition of salad a little bit. But for sure, very hearty, and some sort of fried potato is always part of it.
When I was younger, I never thought anything of fries on a salad, on a sandwich. I felt like it was, on the salad, it's like croutons. It's,
Right.
Probably pretty much at every place, you go, you could get it. When did you realize people in other places, in other cities, across the country weren't eating like this?
Oh, it was when I was about 21 years old and I moved to New York City. It was a real culture shock.
Yeah.
Looking for that on a menu and not finding it anywhere, mentioning it to people and having them look at me like I was from Mars. And at the same time, also trying to lose a little bit of my Pittsburgh accent because people didn't always understand me. We did document services with Iron Mountain. And I defy you to say that without a Pittsburgh accent.
It takes so much concentration for me to say iron. It's just, yes.
Iron Mountain. But that was my first time living outside the Pittsburgh area. So culture shock in many ways, but for sure, lots of those Pittsburgh favorites I hadn't realized were Pittsburgh favorites until then.
I think I remember going to restaurants and asking them for fries on a salad and them looking at me, and I just had to be like, can you just give me a plate of fries? And I'll just do it myself.
Self-assembly, I like it.
Is the history of these two things related in any way? Fries on the salad, fries on a sandwich. I don't know. It feels like a bit serendipitous to have two Pittsburgh classics involve, putting fries on already complete meals.
It really does. I think that the common denominator there is just the history of the city as an industrial city where people are really hardworking. I think sometimes people who are newer or younger, we have this beautiful, fairly green post-industrial city, and it's easy to forget that it was all steel mills and factories for a really long time.
Right.
That was very much in the decline by the time I was born in 1980, but it's still very much part of the city's identity, of course. And this was working people's food. I mean, the sandwich, at least the story that Primanti's tells, is that railroad workers would arrive in the Strip District. Everybody's coming in the middle of the night because railroad hours. And so there were sandwich shops open selling something that was really hearty that they could eat with one hand and take with them. And I think there's also the aspect of immigration. People don't necessarily think of Pittsburgh now as an immigrant city, even though it very much is.
Yeah.
Right. But it had successive waves of immigration throughout the last couple centuries. And the ones that happened at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th involved lots of people whose starch of choice was the potato.
We had Polish people coming in. Yeah, we had a lot of
Exactly.
Irish. Yeah.
Precisely, Eastern Europe.
Hmm.
Exactly. So you've got your rice cultures and your corn cultures and your potato cultures and so forth. And there was definitely a potato wave there. So I could see it sort of being a way for people to feel a little more full.
I do wonder, like, how many during that time, like how many calories and things like that people were burning working in steel mills and in the industry.
Oh, it must have been tremendous. I
Yeah.
mean, you were the physical labor, that just the heat itself, you would sweat so much. It was a really demanding job, even if you didn't have, even if you weren't directly pouring steel or something, pretty much any job you had in the mill was going to be incredibly physically demanding.
Hey, Megan Harris here with a reminder that this show you're listening to reaches Pittsburgh's most passionate audience. CityCast Pittsburgh reaches the people who want to live here, not just the people who happen to live here. They're the movers and shakers and the most engaged in Pittsburgh life. CityCast Pittsburgh listeners are always looking for new restaurants and local events, and they really care about what's happening in their community. Get your message out to the city's best audience right now with an ad right here on the CityCast Pittsburgh podcast. Learn more at pittsburgh.citycast.fm/advertise or email us at ads@citycast.fm.
This episode is brought to you by FX's The Bear. The hit series returns with Jeremy Allen White in the Golden Globe-winning role of Carmy. He and the team will transform their family sandwich shop into a next-level spot, all while being forced to come together in new ways as they confront their past and reckon with who they want to be in the future. FX is The Bear. All episodes streaming June 22nd, only on Hulu.
Is there a restaurant that, or is there a person or that is credited with starting the Fries on?
There are a couple actually, and nobody really knows for sure.
Yeah.
So there's a place called Jerry's Curb Service, which is on the Beaver River where it meets the Ohio, and
So outside
they
of
claim
Pittsburgh.
credit for it. Right. So there was a woman named Donna Reed, not the famous Donna Reed, but she was the wife of the owner. She was working there. And their story is that she served a customer a steak sandwich, hold the bun, add fries and salad dressing. So she watched
Yep.
him eat it and he mixed it all up and put the dressing on top.
And I bet that dressing was ranch.
Oh, I'm sure it had to have been. And she decided to try it on top of lettuce, is the story. Now, mind you, there is another restaurant about a mile away that also claims credit for the salad.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody really knows for sure. It's one of those things that you can't really ever verify, but it's a great story. And I think in our food culture here in Pittsburgh, the stories are almost as important as the food itself.
Yeah. What do you think it says about us as a city that, the industry isn't necessarily here anymore? We don't have a ton of steel mills and things like that, but we have kept those culinary traditions, and celebrated them.
We have, and it's really wonderful, I think, to see people celebrating these sorts of things. One that's gotten a lot of media attention in recent years is the cookie table at weddings.
Yes.
Which one of my personal favorites.
My favorite's a Pittsburgh staple. I still have cookies in my freezer from a wedding a year ago.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes. Was it in a fire hall? I mean, full Pittsburgh experience.
Yeah, right. As they all, yes, exactly. They all are. Yeah.
Right. I think that's really special. And I love that even though that part of our history feels much more distant now, it's something that is really remembered by older Pittsburghers and passed down rather than directly experienced for the most part. But at the same time, we still have all that infrastructure around, even if we're turning those mills into studios. I'm from Springdale, and the coal-fired power plant there was just shut down a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're making a lot of progress on pollution. Maybe people outside the city still think of us as hell with the lid off, but
Right.
it's really very much not like that anymore, right? And I think that that kind of gives us a shared history it's multi-ethnic, it's multinational, everybody's a part of it. You don't have to be from one group or another. You can just be a Pittsburgher and have this heritage that you can call yours and draw from.
Where have you found the best Pittsburgh sandwich and salad in the city?
Honestly, the place where I order the salad the most is probably Eaton Park. I don't know that that's necessarily the
Yes,
best in the city, but
it is.
it's
No,
very
that's the right
reliable.
answer, Sarah.
I did when I was researching that story, actually drive out to Jerry's Curb Service and tried theirs, and I have to say, it's really, really good. It's worth it.
As I was reading the article, I was waiting for an Eaton Park name drop. I was thinking, like, Eaton Park must be accredited.
Somewhere. Speaking of places that used to be open 24 hours.
I know that no longer. You're right. And then we lost the one in Squirrel Hill. Sad.
Oh, I went to Chatham, so that was basically our second dining hall.
The late nights.
Mm-hmm. It's a wonderful place. And I personally, as far as fries go, along with a burger, I would recommend Tesaro's in Bloomfield.
Mm-hmm.
Really fantastic burgers.
Fantastic burgers and fantastic home fries on the side.
Oh my God. You can taste the wood smoke. It's so good.
Sarah Gray is a development editor for O'Reilly Media. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
A little news before you go. Pittsburgh was named one of the best places in the nation for residents without a car. We're a little skeptical about this honor, but according to a market study from the website Co-working Cafe, the Steel City fared pretty well for access to public transit, the number of bike lanes, average fare prices, and more. Pittsburgh ranked especially high for co-working space density, but pretty low for the use of cabs and motorcycles. That might have something to do with the potholes, just saying. Overall, we came in 10th. Philly ranked 6th. A little update on county salaries. You may remember County Executive Rich Fitzgerald vetoed a plan to raise the wages of full-time, part-time, and seasonal workers, but County Council overruled him. Starting next year, folks will receive a minimum wage of $18 an hour, and that'll increase even more through 2026. And it's National Gun Violence Awareness Month. Some great local organizations will honor recent victims here in Allegheny County, as well as those who died in the synagogue shooting in 2018. It's all happening at a vigil at 6:30 tonight at the Grayson Community Center in the Lower Hill. Participants are encouraged to wear orange in solidarity with survivors. That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you enjoyed the show, you should tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you then.
I was like, that's it. I can't. I was like, they're getting closer. It feels like zombies creeping in.